Hello, 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 and welcome. Welcome to our weekly live show. I am Fabiana, pianist and business strategist for musicians. I'm the founder and CEO of the Musicians Profit Umbrella, a global business mentorship program that helps musicians create, build, and scale their online music businesses so that they can create the financial and artistic prosperity without sacrificing their quality of life. I hope you're excited about today's topic. It's really objective. We're going to be talking about some numbers, so I hope that you grab some materials to make some notes and to make some calculations with me today, because we are going to be talking about how you can generate leads to close $10,000 months plus in sales in your music business. So first of all, if you are joining me live, which I see a few of you are here, I would love for you to join me and let me know, where are you watching me from? Welcome. I'm excited to have you in this session. Let me know which part of the world are you tuning in from, and let's dive right in. So when we think about generating leads, and this is a term that is very much borrowed from the business world, right? If we think about what do I mean with generating leads and what exactly does that consist of? Well, as musician entrepreneurs, when we talk about leads, when we refer to generating leads, we're basically talking about strategies to attract clients. How can we create enough people that come into our world that are potentially not only inspired and entertained and informed and educated by our content, but that ultimately become clients, right? That end up helping us grow our businesses while also expanding the impact that we want to make in the world. So today we're talking about how you can reverse engineer your plan to create those $10,000 months if you want. Who doesn't want to create $10,000 months plus in your music business, right? And so I want you to just start envisioning here that everything starts with the end in mind. So when you're thinking about creating your $10,000 a month income for your sales in your music business, the first thing you want to know is you need to have a pricing for your programs, for the services that you offer, that are going to ideally allow you to not necessarily be tied down to how much hours you're spending, right? And this is something that I talk about all the time in many trainings in the past. The idea of packaging our skills to remove that association between time and money, right? So a lot of the work that I do coaching musicians is helping them really strategically align their different skill sets into a high-end offer, a high-ticket offer, right? And this is what allows them to create price points of $5,000, for example, for a 5-month program or a 6-month program, and start from that point and move beyond that after that. These are typical price points that when you think about creating a specific solution that offers people a result, not necessarily based on your time, but instead based on your knowledge, you can actually tangibly connect this price point based on your financial goals, as well as based on the value that that result provides for your ideal client, right? So if you are unfamiliar to the topic of creating a high ticket offer and transitioning away from kind of working by the hour and kind of trading time for money, I'm going to invite you to just dive into many of my additional trainings. And I actually have a workshop coming up, a masterclass in a few weeks, where I'm going to be breaking down a lot more details about that process. So I'm just actually going to go ahead and put it in here in the comments. So if you haven't yet registered, you can definitely do that, because we're actually going to be diving a lot more deeply into how to set these types of scalable offers. Musicians Profit Masterclass.com. So if you haven't yet joined the masterclass and you're not registered, this is your link where you can sign up and get free access to this 5-day masterclass, where I'm going to go into a lot more depth into how to really optimize your offers and scale and build your businesses from the online space, right? So I'm going to put a pause on that and kind of a parenthesis, in that if you want to know more about that, you can sign up and we're going to talk about that in like 10 days. But for today, we're going to focus more on the pricing strategy and lead generation strategy, right? How can you actually get to closing 10K months in your music business? So the first thing you're going to want to do is define your pricing. And let's say you're familiar with the whole structure of setting a high ticket price point as a musician. And let's say you have a $5,000 program for like 5 or 6 months, right? Let's just start with that. Your $5,000 program, you have a $5,000 offer, and that it is like a beginning program, right? So all you have to do is you have to reverse engineer how many conversations do you need to have? Because when you're selling these types of high ticket programs, this isn't something that is typically going to be just sold like through a shopping cart, like go to this page, click this button and buy. You're going to sell this program through conversations, right? That's the reality. So in order for you to create this type of revenue, you need to have a system that builds content, that attracts people into your world, that nurtures them through your content, whether it's blogs or videos, posts on social media. Maybe you have a Facebook community, some sort of way for people to come into your world and to binge your content and really understand what you're all about, right? So again, we're kind of setting that topic also at assuming you have that set up, meaning you're familiar with creating content, you have a marketing engine going, and you have a system for continuously attracting leads to create that predictability in your business. So, and again, if you want to know more about how all of that works, we're going to be talking about that as well in the masterclass in 10 days. So get yourself registered. If you're not yet there, this is where we're going to be diving into all of this. But again, assuming you have your price point for your offer, let's say $5,000, assuming you have already a marketing system that is bringing leads, ongoing, then what we're going to be doing to close these $10,000 months is simply reverse engineering the amount of conversations that you need to have in order to reach that goal. So I want you to grab a pencil and a paper, or a pen and a paper, or a pen and a pad, and I want you to do some numbers with me today so you can actually see how this is very possible, right? And let's just reverse engineer. If you want to break, $10,000 months plus, assuming you have a $5,000 offer, right? Which again, if you're new to the high ticket space, new to the high ticket world as a musician, and you're thinking, what? $5,000 offer? I've never had anything priced that point. Don't worry. Join my masterclass in 10 days, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how to design, optimize, and improve your offer so that this feels very realistic. I've done this with so many musicians in the last 3 years. And, if you have any curiosity and you want to know more about who are these people that you've been able to create these $5,000 programs plus, then just go into my website, check out all of the different testimonials. You can also see all of the different specific case studies of musicians who've done this, right? Musicians, any of my website, Musicians Profit Umbrella, or any of that. So for today, though, if you think about a $10,000 income stream that you want to create and reverse engineering your lead generation strategy to do that, all you need to do is start backing up some numbers. So for example, if you want to have, let's say you make, you have a $5,000 program, and let's say you do a payment plan. Okay, maybe you have a payment plan where you do a 5-month payment plan. For example, people pay you just $1,000 a month. Okay, I'm going to deliberately reduce the numbers to make it even more tangible and more understandable. So the big numbers, if you're unfamiliar with this high ticket space, perhaps they don't scare you off, right? So let's say you have a $5,000 offer and you have a couple of payment plans, and one of those payment plans is, let's say, a monthly payment plan. So people pay you only $1,000 a month, right? Then in reality, for you to have, a $10,000 income stream for that month, you just need to make 10 sales. Now, if one person or two people pay you in full that month, you can actually pay in full payments. If you get two people to pay in full, that's easy, right? If you get two people to pay you $5,000 in full, that's your $10,000 mark. But I'm going to push you even more conservative, right? If you get only $1,000 payments, right? Then all you need to do is make 10 sales. And if each one of these sales becomes $1,000, then that's your $10,000 month right there. Now, but let's reverse engineer. What are the steps that you need to take to generate those sales, right? So here's the thing. Again, as I mentioned before, for you to make these sales, you need to have conversations. You need to be talking to people and explaining to them the value of your offer. Again, assuming that they've gone through your content. They're not brand new people into your world. They have a way to consume your content and to be there and understand, what you're all about, right? We're going to assume that. Your job is going to be to say, okay, if I want to make $10,000, I need to make, let's say worst case scenario, they all go in the monthly payment. I need to make 10 sales. And I'm pushing you because in reality, you don't need 10 sales. If you get 2 sales and they each pay in full, that's all you need. But let's just push it further. So if you want to make 10 sales and they're each going to pay you $1,000 for that month, then let's backtrack this week by week, right? So in 1 week, you want to have at least a goal of having at least 5 sales, 5 conversations. Let me put it this way. If you can do some outreach, if you can invite people to conversations and have a goal of blocking out at least 1 hour a day to have a sales conversation with a potential client, right? That's 1 call a day. right? So we're starting with a minimum, right? One call a day. If you can aim to try to get one conversation a day with a potential client that you have either invited or that has come to you through a different mechanism, and one of those, like from those 5 calls a week, right? Now we're going to break it down into weekly. So if you have 1 hour a day of a call, one call a day, usually they're about 45 minutes. So let's say you have 1 call a day, and that's 5 calls a week. Let's say half of those people you're able to close, like from 5 calls that you have, about 2 or 3, or in between 2 or 3 of those calls become clients. They say yes. They say, yes, I want to work with you. Then all you have to do is say, okay, then my goal is to try to do everything in my power to schedule 1 sales call a day, Monday through Friday. And if I can get 50% of those people to say yes, if I can get at least half of those people to say yes, and even if they all end up doing the minimum monthly payment of just $1,000 a month, then if you have, let's say, 2.5 sales, we're just going to break it down numerically, 2.5 sales on the first week, 2.5 sales in the next week, 2.5 sales like this for 4 weeks, that's your 10 sales. And if all those 10 sales are paid by the month, like monthly installments, $1,000, that's your sale. That's your $10,000 month. So think about this. Now the question needs to be, what can you do? Now that I've broken down the formula, right? And a very conservative formula, by the way, because again, if you get one person to give you like the pay in full, or at least half of that, like at least if they give you 2,500 instead of 5,000, like you don't even need 10 sales. Do you see how I'm talking about? Do you see the math here? It's actually more feasible than you think. And I have had clients who have come into my programs, and in a matter of weeks, they've made these sales at $5,000, right? So I want you to know that this is very possible. Musicians just like yourself, right? They come in and following these strategies, they're able to package their skills at $5,000 plus, and just in a matter of weeks be able to make sales at this price point. Why wouldn't you be able to do the same? So it's totally possible. If you're wondering, is this possible? Again, I want to assure you that it is, as long as you're following these steps and following the process, right? And getting the foundations in place, like a solid marketing system, a solid offer design, obviously solid brand, a solid messaging about what you do, a clarity around who your ideal clients are, right? And again, if all of this is still fuzzy for you, make sure you register for my Musicians Profit Masterclass, because that's where we're going to be going deep into how to set all of this up, right? So make sure you're in there if you're not there yet. But again, I just hope that you see this. Like, it's just a matter of making the numbers, of creating the right strategies for bringing people in on a recurring basis, on a predictable basis, and then say, you know what, if I price myself at 5K and I have, a few sales a month, and I specifically book my calendar with calls and make offers, then I'll be able to create this revenue. That's really all it is. You want to make more money? All you have to do is make more offers. And the way to make more offers is by booking calls in your calendar and being willing to talk to people and letting them know and asking, what do they need, and really diagnosing how can you help them, and feeling confident enough in extending an invitation when the time is right, right? So I hope that you feel inspired. Let me know, what was your key takeaway from today's session. And again, we're going to be diving into all of this a lot further in the next 10 days when my masterclass starts, my Musicians Profit Masterclass, starting January 23rd. So if you're not yet registered, go ahead and join us. This is going to be a fantastic 5-day series. So I hope that this has given you some ideas, some initial pointers, and I can't wait to see what you do with your lead generation strategies and pricing strategies. Let's connect again, musiciansprofitmasterclass.com. Thank you for watching, and let's prosper together.